you're on your awakening journey and struggling with your family of origin, like where you grew up, who you grew up with, this video is for you. Because it's not always easy to navigate. When you're going through this spiritual awakening, when you're aware of the energy, you're sensitive to other people's energies, right? To stay centered in yourself. And as you start to become aware of the programming in the world, as you start to become aware that you don't resonate with certain things and that you are connected to a deeper truth, not everybody is going to understand you. And when we're looking outside of ourselves to try to get other people to understand us, to hear us, right, to see us, it can be a challenging thing because it can disconnect us from source. One of the most valuable things that I learned in my journey was to start finding that validation within myself, and also to support myself in being in environments that were truly supportive to my spiritual growth, to my self-development, surrounding myself with like-minded people. And growing up in Indiana, I had struggled with this when I started going through my awakening, is that I started speaking in terms of energy. I started talking about what I was into with meditation. And I noticed that certain friends from high school didn't get that. As I was having these otherworldly experiences, as having these cosmic experiences, and I was connecting to my guides, I was like not able to fully express what I was going through, or for my family to fully understand me. And especially as you wake up to the food, right, and the media, and you're like realizing that maybe you've been on the journey for a while, or you're there, or you go back home, or you're living, where you grew up, and you're seeing people eating McDonald's or talking about the news, right? Or kind of repeating the fear and the propaganda of the fear consciousness, the separation consciousness, and you don't resonate with it. You don't want to put your attention there. You don't feel like that it's fully in alignment for you to be a part of that narrative. Now, this can be a really challenging thing to navigate, right? Because what I started to notice is that as I chose to go on my own journey, I needed to put myself in different environments, right? And sometimes, if you look at it like a seed, right? You can plant a seed in barren soil, but are you gonna blame the soil? Are you gonna blame the seed when it doesn't grow? Well, if you were to take that same seed and put it into fertile soil, right? And watering that seed with the care and the compassion and the understanding and the support of like-minded people in a healthy environment, well, that seed's gonna flourish and grow. And we become like the people that we spend time with. So as you're going through this, something that I uncovered is this psycho-spiritual idea of unconscious loyalty. And we can have these unconscious loyalties to different paradigms or belief systems that don't serve us. We can have unconscious loyalty to our family, to family drama, right? To family trauma. And that can keep us stuck in these repeated patterns of looking for love in all the wrong places. And then you wonder why you don't feel fully understood or fully nourished by an environment, or even being in the environment where people are watching the news, where they're eating the food, that's not good for them, and you know that, and maybe there's not anything you can do to change that. Maybe you're in that environment, you're in that situation, and there are some things that you can do to uplift others. But if you're trying to stay there in order to change other people, Well, it doesn't really work because you end up draining yourself in the process, and especially being sensitive to energy. And you can say that being energetically sensitive or empathic comes from early childhood wounding, and I think that that's one perspective. But another perspective is that as you start meditating or as you start becoming more mindful, you start becoming more in tune with the energy. You start becoming more aware of your desires and your heart's desires. You become more aware of what's in resonance and what's not. You start becoming more aware of what is ill and what is well, what is good for you and what is not good for you. You start to become aware of the energies and around the kind of thought forms that people are thinking and the negativity, and you start to become sensitive to that. Now, yes, there's tools that you can use to ground yourself and that you can drop into your body. There's practices like meditation. There's different ways that you can be using affirmations or visualization, and you can be creating a different reality. But if you are constantly tuning into these things that are taking you out of your center, if the environment isn't fully serving you, look at the soil. Asking yourself, does this fully support this to grow? And obviously, there's different circumstances. There's different things that we care about, different things that we show up first, we put ourselves second. And I totally understand that. And it's just in my own journey is that when I left Indiana, I realized that I didn't want to be in that environment. I didn't want to be around people that were eating unhealthy food, that were watching the news and the fear programming and just living in the 9-to-5 world, and who were trying to give me the advice of how to live in a way that they weren't living in a way that I wanted to be living, and I didn't feel like I was getting the support because the soil wasn't right for me. And then when I started putting myself in another soil, I started putting myself and traveling and seeking new perspectives and like-minded people and living in places with clean air and good water and organic food. And of course, there was to some degree you could access it there, but when you're living in a place that has more of that available, more people that are healthy, more people that are successful in doing what they love, if you can surround yourself more with that energy of your soul tribe, of people that understand you and see you, also finding that within yourself is what's going to attract that. Constantly looking for where love is not what's going to attract that. And when you start to find that, going within and finding that love for yourself, you start to realize that supersedes the need to sacrifice yourself for other people. And that's what I realized in my journey, is that's why even when I go to visit certain parts of my family, I only stay for a short period of time, because I know that my cup needs to stay full, and that because I'm sensitive to energy, that certain energies don't support the mission of why I'm here on the planet. It's not because there's something wrong with me. It's not because I'm broken or wounded or have to heal this empath thing. That's a whole other thing. Tuning into other people's energies and being a people pleaser, that's one thing. But another thing is that you simply don't belong somewhere in that environment because it doesn't fully support your soul's evolution and growth. And that as you come into your own body, as you come into your own embodiment and into your own awareness and into what it is that you want to create and what it is that you're attracting, right? Then you start to give yourself the permission to realize that you don't owe anyone anything. You don't owe the unconscious loyalty to patterns that don't serve the highest benefit. And that's where you realize that just sacrificing and staying in that repeated loop doesn't get you or anyone else there. And that you have to be selfish enough, centered within your own self. And you could say, oh, that's selfish, that's self-interested. But everybody is looking through the center of a self. So having interest in your own life, having interest in your own well-being, having interest in the things that excite you, the things that you're passionate about, is actually a kind of selfless selfishness, because that's what's going to fill your cup. That's what's going to put you on your path. That's what's going to light you up. And when you get lit up, that's when you have something to give other people. Abraham Hicks often goes into this with the law of attraction. But to be able to come to this source within ourselves and to be able to find that connection, I realized that I started leaving behind different environments and relationships. It wasn't even that I was leaving them behind, it was that as I let go of old versions of myself that felt like this unconscious loyalty, and I gave myself the permission to step into my calling and what I'm passionate about, it started leading me to places where that I was healthier and where the land was cleaner, where I was more connected to spirit, where I could feel the energy of the earth, where I could connect into the clean earth, where I could connect with like-minded people and soul family. And of course, our family of origin is a part of our soul family, but family is what you make of it, and family is what you choose. Now, we can still have love for people from a distance. We can still choose to be a part of people's lives in a role that is from our center and from our truth, and that's going to be able to allow us to show up in the best way possible. But if we just stay in the cycles, if we stay in the drama, if we stay in the karma, we are continuing to perpetuate that, and we're continuing to drain ourselves. And so this is just a reminder that you're not alone if you feel like you're in a place where people don't fully understand you or you don't feel fully supported. And as you start to go within and find and ask yourself, what do I truly need to thrive? What do I truly need to live my best life? Answers will start to come. You'll see that you can take that seed that's in that barren soil and you can plant it into fertile soil. And then as you start to grow, it's like a tree coming up. You're gonna have all these fruits coming off of loving kindness and service to share back with those people. That if you just stayed in that environment that didn't serve you, you couldn't even give them. The soil wouldn't have produced the fruit. So where's the fruit to give them? But if you give yourself that room to grow, if you put yourself in an environment that allows you to truly prosper, where there aren't all these distractions and there isn't all this fear and all this programming and all this entanglement with relationship patterns that don't serve, what I found is it starts to free up this bandwidth to be able to create the life that you truly want to live. And as you start to create that life, that's when your true service starts to come through, and you become an example of that. So give yourself the permission to put that seed in the soil that truly serves.